Hello, and welcome to Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. I am your host, Carolyn Mills. This week, we'll be looking at the final episode of season two called I'll Be Seeing You Part Two. This episode first aired on May 10th, 1984. It was directed by James Burrows and it was written by Glenn Charles and Les Charles. Guest cast Christopher Lloyd as Philip Semenko, Christopher Carroll as Ed, and Steve Gianelli as Steve. The Cheers is filmed in front of a live studio audience. Was not there for this episode. So let's jump into our summary. In the cold open, a customer wants to give Carla a ride home. Carla tells him she knows what a ride home means. She tells him what will happen, and he protests. Carla, I'm not that kind of a guy. She tells him, shut up and listen, as they leave together. Where everybody knows your name plays. Coach gives a recap of the previous episode using the telestrator to illustrate what he's saying. Um, for those of you that have not recently watched the episode and do not know what a telestrator is, in sports, sometimes the announcers, or is it the commentators, somebody that's talking about the sports, will have these little white lines that draw pictures. Um, and it might point this way or circle. That's the telestrator. However, he keeps slipping into baseball plays. The flashback here is in black and white, which I thought was actually really cool. Coach announces everything for the picnic is off. He says he was doing it for them, but to forget everything, including him. They all feel bad and sign up for the picnic. Coach whispers to Carla, the pathetic mantle that works like a charm. It's always fun when we see Coach and later Woody get the best of the others because they're considered the dumb ones. So I always like those little scenes. Norm comes in as and is upset because he went back to the Hungry Heifer. He says he was lured back by the surf and turf special. And that surf and turf special consists of tuna fish sandwich with beef gravy. And I'm just curious here, is there anybody that actually does not find that incredibly disgusting? It could be me because I don't like tuna fish or gravy, but the combo even sounds worse. Carla points out that Diane is late again. Norm says that she's been late every day since Sam threw Semenko out. Now, this is part two of the same episode, essentially. It's two different episodes the way they did it. They didn't do it an hour special. But still, it was only a week before. They all saw, with the exception of Sam, who was in his office, everyone else was there when Diane left with Philip Semenko. And then at the end, if you remember at that episode, the last thing Sam says is, "Where's Diane?" But they all saw where she went and who she went with. So why are they surprised and trying acting like, oh, maybe that's why she's late? You all know, kind of dumb. Cliff says that Semenko, like all artists, is gay. Typical '80s and even in the '90s thing, where anybody who's that was an insult, basically. Calling somebody gay was an insult. Philip and Diane are in her apartment. Philip is painting, but becomes frustrated. Diane wants to help him. He tells her, let's go to bed. He explains that he makes love to everything he paints. Diane is confused by this because Semenko's most famous painting was the Harvard Yale football game. He tells her he spent 3 months in jail, but he still gets a few Christmas cards. And of course, as always, Christopher Lloyd, I would say Christopher Reeve, sorry. Christopher Lloyd's delivery is perfect. He is such an amazing actor, especially comedic. Well, I don't know if he's done anything serious, but so funny. He realizes the problem is Diane. She lost the sense of anguish. He suggests she returns to Sam, calling him Bullwinkle, to get it back. Diane asks him not to call Sam that. She says they are two different people, but that is good. Yet sometimes it's not so good. As she talks about Sam, Phelps says, the torment is back, and with it my brilliance. She says she will make coffee. He tells her, never mind, I'm done. They look at the painting together. She tells him, I love it, and so will Sam. Sam comes into the bar with a package. He announces that his troubles are over. Carla asks if it's an exploding pizza for Diane. He says he had someone do that portrait of Diane using the photographs that Film Sameka wouldn't use. He shows them the painting and they all laugh at it. Sam says he's glad because he thought Diane might take it seriously. We see the painting Semenko did. Diane is convinced Sam will love it. Semenko disagrees. Diane asks Philip if he's coming to the bar with her. He tells her no and thinks she should be alone with Sam, this time calling him Mortimer. She asks why they should be alone. Philip responds, because it's the last time you'll ever see him. Well, they're foreshadowing there, of course. Well, foreshadowing for this season. Diane comes in with a painting. She gives Carla a gift for covering for her all week. Carla opens it and it's a necklace. She loves it. Diane tells her that it's polite to express gratitude when one gives you a gift. Carla tries, but is unable to say thank you. So she gives back the necklace. Diane tells her to keep it, and asks where Sam is. Carla says that he's in the back. Diane says, oh, advice. Oh, Diane tells Carla to take the day off. Carla claims Diane is just being nice to her to try to get her to say that thing people say when other people do favors for them. But Diane assures Carla that she does not have to thank her. And excitedly, Carla says, "Thank you." Then she slams her tongue in the door to punish her tongue before she leaves. I cringe every time I watch this scene. Not because it's not good, but it looks so realistic to me, at least, when Rhea Perlman actually has her face against the door. It literally looks like she's about to slam her tongue in the thing. Um, I think she does a great job with that scene. And yeah, I cringe every time because it's just a little too realistic looking to me. As she leaves, Sam comes from the back. Diane shows the wrapped painting to him. Sam is angry that she went behind his back. She says when he sees the painting, he'll understand. However, she won't let him open it until he calms down. He calls her crazy. Sam gives up. Diane says when he sees it, he will understand and forgive her. Sam asks, what if he hates it? She tells him he's going to love it because he's come so far in the last 6 months. Sam is offended. She treats him like a chimp who pushes the right buttons and gets a banana. He starts ranting and ends with what fork he should use with soup and salad. Um, the rant that he does is also Ted Danson does such a great job with this rant, and there'll be more later because it's actually in with one. The rant itself I don't have, but there's some more later with the favorite quotes. Diane says she's tired. She says their relationship is a contest of wills, and she gives up. He tells her he's won a lot of their fights. Diane is about to leave, but Sam still wants to fight. He tells her, "You're not going anywhere until we've had a real brouhaha." You don't really hear the word. You don't really hear the word brouhaha anymore, but I really like the word. So he says, "You're not going anywhere until we've had a real brouhaha." She responds, "Brew on your own, haha." Really great line here. I almost used it in the quotes, but I put it here instead. He grabs the pitcher, telling her he's going to break it. He doesn't use the word break it. He says, "I'll do it," but you can tell that's what he's thinking. Sam makes faces and gestures at her until she snaps and yells, "Stop it." She compares him to a fat, braying ass. He says he's going to dump her. They start slapping each other. She grabs his nose, so he grabs hers. They agree to let go, but don't. And they're actually going down, like on their knees as this is all happening. And Diane observes, "We have sunk as low as two people can sink." They finally let go, and Sam asks Diane if she's okay. He tells her that she looks like Rudolph. Diane is upset that Sam hit her. Sam tells her, "Not hard." She asks what that means, and he tells her, not as hard as I wanted to. Diane tries to leave. Sam stops her and tells her, get the hell out of here. Really good scene between the two of them. And as I watch it, I'm thinking, wow, you two should definitely never even be in the same room again. Um, Kind of like somebody says in season five when somebody will say that. But right now, focus on season two, of course. Um, you can see, I mean, it's incredibly toxic. She's sneaking behind his back. They're slapping each other. They're screaming at each other, insulting. This is not a healthy relationship. Diane warns. Try that again, not warm. Diane warns him he is crossing a dangerous line. She says that if she leaves, he will never see her again. They look at each other. She opens the door. Sam says, hey, Diane, this is it, huh? Diane confirms. They say goodbye and she leaves. Sam turns to go after her, but he changes his mind. Diane starts to return, but also changes her mind. Sam opens up the painting that Semenko did. He looks at it and says, wow. So there we have our final episode. Let's talk about it. I gave this episode 5 out of 5 beer nuts. Admittedly, the fight scene with the slapping and grabbing noses is not cool by today's standards. However, I saw it when I watched it as slapstick Three Stooges type humor. So I still laugh. Also, just as in part one, we have guest appearance by the amazing Christopher Lloyd. Um, I cannot say enough for this man about this man. I would love to interview him. I don't know if I'll be able to get him. I've been trying, hoping, but I don't know if he'll do it. He's such an amazing man. So funny. His timing is perfect. If you've all ever seen Taxi, you know he plays Reverend Jim Ignatoski. I hope I pronounced that right. Um, and one of my favorite scenes, and that is he's trying to get his license, and I think it's his license. He's at the DMV, so I don't know if it's a Reno or what. But anyway, he's filling. Yes, he's trying to get his print because he's filling out the written part of the test, and the question says, "What do you do at a yellow light?" He has no clue, of course, and he keeps saying to Alex, Judd Hirsch played him. He's like, What do I do at a yellow light?" And Alex is like, slow down. And he goes, what do I do at a yellow light? And Alex again is slow down. And Christopher Lloyd, as Reverend Jim says, what do I do at a yellow light? Like that. So funny. Obviously, he does it better. I'm just giving an example. Of course, Back to the Future, amazing as Doc Brown. My mom and I always love the scene where he says, "Damn, where's that kid? Damn, damn, damn." That part. He Adam's Family and Adam's Family's values. Everything he does, just amazing. However, I did not give him the MVP this time. Um, I actually gave co-MVPs to Shelley Long and Ted Danson because of that scene at the end. As cringeworthy as it is now, with them abusing each other. Like I said, I see it Three Stooges slapstick style. And they do it perfectly. The two, they're just doing what's written, and they did it perfectly. And before that, Shelley with the Christopher Lloyd scene, also really good. Sam wasn't in this episode as much, because he doesn't come in until later. But yeah, I think they both deserve the MVP for this episode. So our best dressed, wrong button. Since I've discovered I can do this now. So here, our best dress I gave to Diane Chambers and the scene with Semenko. I really like this outfit that she's wearing. Um, it's very pretty, I think. Actually, Diane probably has some of the best clothes in this series. So let me stop sharing that. And I was very excited that I learned I can now share pictures, and you guys will see them because I saw it on the last one. I learned how to do that. I'm a work in progress. End of season two. Still learning. Got 9 more seasons. Going to keep learning. Learning all the time. Grand Slam line between Diane and Sam near the end. And this is after he makes the comment about he had said the what fork to use with soup and a salad. Then he goes on and on about how you don't use a fork with soup, and he asks her not to say, and he's babbling at this point. So Diane says, "I've turned you into a babbling idiot." Who you calling the babbling idiot? I'm actually criticizing myself. You called me a babbling idiot, and you're criticizing yourself. Do me a favor. Let me criticize myself for a while. You're sickening. Or on baseline between Philip and Diane. Let's go to bed. You want to make love? No, I always take a nap with a blonde in the afternoon. Here's a little known fact. Carla is reading a 1984 issue of Vogue. She has a black marker in her hand, and she has already blacked out some of Sherry Belafonte's teeth. In a previous episode, Sam told her that her favorite hobby is drawing underarm hair on Vogue models. Maybe that was what she was going to do next. Well, we have reached the end of season two. On February 11th, Matt Jer will be joining me again for season two's recap. If you like this episode, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. You can join our Facebook group, Cheers, That's One Woman's Opinion. Oh, sorry. There you go. You can follow us on Instagram at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter X at One Woman's Opinion. Sorry, One Woman Opinion. I read that wrong. You can join our Reddit group, whatever those things are called, at Cheers Rewatch Podcast. And as always, please feel free to email us with questions, comments, etc. at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast at gmail.com. I will not be recording and I'll be putting up a new actual rewatch episode until the beginning of March. But we have the episode of Matt Jer. We should be having a game. I'm supposed to have 3 contestants, but they have not responded for time. So I'm hoping we'll still be doing that. And on February 21st, there will be a Kelsey Grammer movie. So if you all want to comment or email me with what your favorite Kelsey Grammer movie is for his birthday, he is the last of the Cheers birthdays that I need to do, and then I'll have done a movie rewatch for all of them. So please feel free to comment about that as well. And that is One Woman's Opinion.